Our football team played a hard-fought, emotional, physical game yesterday. We knew this was going to be tough. Going into this game, we did preach to our football team that this was the best team in football. The record dictated that. 6 of the 8 last 8 contests we had against this football came down to a one-possession game, so we knew it was going to be tight. My hat's off to Atlanta. They're a good football team. They were well prepared, and we prepared well last week and had a chance to compete and won the game. And we're certainly proud of our players and the coaching staff for the plan they put together. And now it's on to Oakland. Questions?
Joe, Jabari was just here a moment ago. I know as coaches, you guys always talk about looking at one game at a time, and they mentioned that as well. But he said pretty much that for the team's psyche, the player's psyche, getting to 500 is a big, big deal. Can you kind of elaborate on that?
I mean, listen, at this point in the season and where we are right now, we're taking one day at a time and one game at a time. You can't look down the road of who you're playing in December and what ifs and they play this. You'll drive yourself crazy. The only thing that we can control this week is how we prepare for our next opponent, which is the Raiders out in Oakland. It's a road game. Dennis Allen's their head coach, and Dennis Allen knows his football team very, very well. And, in fact, he knows his football team better than we know them right now. So the only thing that we can control is how we prepare this week for this game. And this is the only game that counts. And we need to win a football game.
Joe, any thoughts to what Roddy White said about they gave it to you?
What did he say? That's his opinion. He's entitled to that. That's his opinion.
Joe, can you talk a little bit about Gabe Hicks and Corey White? I mean, two guys getting a lot of reps. And talk a little bit about how they've progressed, and at this stage, how much they contribute.
Let me tell you something. We've said this, I think, from early in training camp. Our expectancy level for those two players was pretty high coming in. After we had them in the OTAs, and then we had them in training camp, then you watch them progress through the preseason. I think what's been good about those two guys and why they've been fun to coach is they have high expectancy level of themselves also. So when the coach's expectancy level meets that of the players, it's a pretty good working relationship. Akeem gets better every game, and he's coming from a small-time program where he's seen a lot of things for the first time, same as Corey. What both of those guys really do for young kids, do a good job of preparing themselves during the week and getting themselves prepared to play, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And it was really giving them a chance. But for those two young kids, really the sky's the limit because they fit the profile physically of what you're looking for with each of those players as it pertains to their position. And it's been fun to watch. And listen, what these guys have to understand now is when they're getting ready to go home for vacation at Thanksgiving, this is the run for us now. So this is a marathon, so they've got a lot of improvement to do. They've got a lot of football left to play, and their ability to handle the mental and just the emotional grind of a long season is going to be critical.
Joe, in terms of what a defense faces, your defense playing yesterday against an Atlanta team that pretty much presents everything that an offense would like to have, is that where the work against the Saints offense during the offseason, everything helps you guys?
Yeah, I think so. Listen, when you take a look at Atlanta's offense, tell me what they don't have. They've got skilled running backs. They've got a, potentially MVP quarterback, a first ballot Hall of Famer at the tight end position, and two big wide receivers that can burn down the field. Now they're going to give you multiple sets, multiple formations, and they're going to give you 3 or 4 wrinkles in every game that you haven't seen, which gives a little bit of advantage to us defensively because we have to problem solve every day in training camp against our offense. So I think that obviously going against Drew and our receivers and our skilled people every day gives us the confidence to make those adjustments in a game when you play against a team like the Atlanta Falcons.
Is Chris Ivory warranted more carries, or do you still think it's going to be
listen, we're going to evaluate that tonight, and we're going to do exactly what we think is going to be necessary against the Oakland Raiders to beat them. We'll take a look at what defensive fronts they're running, our play selection, and we'll give him the amount of carries and give him the load that we think is going to be warranted to beat that team, and it's going to change on a weekly basis. Chris is playing well.
Do you believe in the term running angry? Because he looks like he's just pissed when he's running the ball and just take it out.
It's a cute saying. I think since he's been here. I think he's run over people since he's been here. I mean, that's what he does. I think he's one of those backs that does a great job of running behind his pads. He's one of those backs that at his size can make you miss, and at the same time can lower his pads and run over people. You know, he's always looking to get extra yards. I think what's been encouraging about Chris is you saw him switch the ball yesterday into the proper hand when he finished his touchdown run. Those are the little things that he's really worked on to become a better player, and it's fun to watch, and we're proud of him.
In what ways have you seen your team develop that identity on a consistent basis the past few weeks?
Well, number one, it's not my team. This is our team. This is Sean and Mickey's team, and this is our team. And all we're doing is, listen, we have a formula around here to win, and we've had one since '06, and it changes on a yearly basis based on the personality of your football team. But this win that we had yesterday was a direct result of how hard this football team has worked from day one when I wasn't here. Against, you know, a setback against the Washington Redskins, a setback against Carolina. This team has rolled their sleeves up, have weathered the storm, have stuck together, have not pointed fingers, and have tried to get better every day. So the byproduct of yesterday's one has been this football team and this coaching staff's character, their ability to stick together, and just work at the grind.
What you get out of Charles Brown this season?
Excuse me?
Charles Brown, what you get out of him
I
yesterday?
think, you know, listen, Charles has been he's a high-round draft pick for us. Charles has played a lot of football. Charles is extremely athletic, and he's got strong hands. He's played a lot of football for us. You know, he had to go and step in yesterday and play for a player, Zach Streif, who's played very well for us. And I've said this before: we have a next man up theory, and when it's your turn to go play. So, Charles did a good job yesterday. Did a good job.
Corey White didn't know the field yesterday. Is he okay?
He's being examined right now.
Did you find out if it was a knee or a die?
I did.
Care to share?
No.
Joe, you said something last week about the fact pro teams don't have pep rallies and bonfires and so forth. Obviously, the players, though, were motivated by the rivalry last week. How much of that motivation and so forth do you personally play a part in right now? Or do you just limit yourself to trying to get the team ready in the X and O combo?
Listen, this was a big game for us. It's an 8-0 football team coming to our building. They're a good football team, Atlanta, and these have been hard-fought contests since '06, since we started, you know, playing one another. It's a divisional game. All the things that go into big games was here yesterday for us. Our players have been in big games before. They've won world championships here. We've won playoff games here, so our players know how to prepare for big games against good opponents. And it all goes back to preparation. It doesn't go back to talking. It doesn't go back to chirping. It doesn't go back to, you know, somebody mouthing off. It goes back to how well did you prepare for the game, and then how well did you play in the game. Talk is cheap in our business. What you do speaks so well, there's no need to hear what you have to say.
What I'm saying is you prepare at the same level, obviously, this week for Oakland, which may be struggling right now.
So we saying this is a trap game? Well, no. This is our next game. This is our next game. And really, if we don't prepare for the Oakland Raiders the same way that we prepared for Atlanta, with the same detail, with the same concentration, with the same commitment, it's going to be a long day on Sunday. And we'll have no one to blame but ourselves.
Having an influx of linebackers, has it made it tougher to get Shanley on the field?
Right now it has, yeah. Right now it has, yeah. And we're going to play what we think is the best combination of linebackers that gives us the best opportunity to win.
Are you going out a day early like you did for Denver?
Yes.
Hey, Joe, is it weird for you to see, I know you want him on the field regardless, to see Vilma not in the middle? I know Curtis has been great, but it's just different, isn't it?
You know, not really. You know, I tell you, it's such a good feeling to see him out there. It's such a good feeling to see him getting healthier every snap and every practice and every game. It's such a good feeling to see his leadership come forward. And really, it's a very calming effect when you have both him and Lofton on the field at the same time, because of their leadership, because of their intelligence. They have just outstanding communication skills with their teammates during the course of the game. So any way that we can get Jonathan Vilma on the field, and he's a part of our football team, is a good thing for us.
Does Curtis still make the checks?
Yes. Now listen, those checks, those guys are talking and communicating Vilma will say to him every once in a while, call this, do this. Curtis will do it, and then Jonathan will relay it. Those guys really do work well together. There's no pride of authorship with those two guys. They just want to win. They want to win, and they want to get better every day.
You talk about the efforts, Jenkins, because that's the second time this season he's stopped the player at the 1 yard line and led to a goal line stand or a significant play.
Yeah, well, hey, listen. Malcolm's a good football player. You know, this is the first time that Malcolm has had to go through a schematic change in his career. I think this is the third for Harper. This is the third for Shanley. This is the third for Vilma. So, and this is never easy the first time you go through one. You learn a new verbiage, new alignments. Your eye placement is different. And through this whole thing, Malcolm has stayed positive. He's a voted captain on our football team. You know, when the game is on the line and plays have to be made, you just trust Malcolm Jenkins. And you trust him because he works so hard and he's so accountable to his teammates. And it's been fun to watch.
What does it do for a team to have a punter and kickoff man like Thomas Morstead?
Well, like I said, your eyes didn't lie to you yesterday. I mean, he kicked them all off out of the end zone, so there was no returns. He did an outstanding job punting the ball and placing the ball where we wanted it. You know, hey, listen, Thomas is a very stable, hardworking. He's a great teammate. He takes tremendous pride in what he does. Thomas is a valued member of this football team.